Good afternoon, YouTube. Here with you at the chair in the living room once again. I'm basically doing this on the Windows 11 uh, install on my Dell 3000, a little mini microcomputer. Um, I tried this many times with the 7000 computer and running Linux. I could run Windows on it, I guess, and go that route, but I thought, well, it's just as easy to come over here and do it. I tried all the Linux programs. The Linux programs for webcams do not work at all, hardly. Um, if they do work, it's kind of a trade-off. Either you get good video and get your sync with your audio better, or you get grainy this or that, and sound goes haywire. So I don't know what's going on with that. This is a new camera. I can't remember the name, Brio something. I'll flash it up on the screen. Bought it yesterday. Bob and I had our business meeting. We have our monthly business meeting on the second Wednesday of the month, and as such, didn't think much about it. Went to set up the meeting in Google Meet, and noticed that my camera was not working. That was the old webcam, the Logitech C270, I think is what it is. Now that was just a 720p camera. This one is a 1080p camera, and I think it looks pretty good from what I've seen so far. And so, I thought we'd give it a shot and see if it's going to work for something like this. And even if I have to go to basically Windows to get it done, I don't care. I've got both operating systems on here, so. But anyway, long story, I know it's too late for that. Um, I the camera didn't work, and I with basically trying this, trying that, different computers, different settings, different whatever. Finally got it to work enough for our meeting, and it worked fine for the meeting. But then it went haywire after that, and I was showing Bob some of the pictures I took with it, and I'll flash up a picture of that from what I had it going, and then it would go blank completely as well. I mean, instead of basically any kind of audio or video or anything, it just went blank. It was nothing. So anyway, so we again, long story short, we decided to order a new one. Now Bob has the same one, and he said it's been working for him pretty good. So decided to try this one. It's again Logitech Brio, whatever the number was I flashed up, and so so far so good, I guess. And that the other one, the problem with the other one was when I clamped it on top of my monitor. I 3D printed a clamp. You know how I am with 3D printing and stuff, and tightened it down pretty good, but I didn't realize that I had the wire for the camera to go to the USB cable in there, and clamped it down on top of that, and I squished it pretty good. And over the time that we've used it and everything, over the length of time that I've used it or had it and such, that it's finally gave up the ghost as far as the wires in there. And I'm sure because I swing my monitor out of the way when I get up and down, that has something to do with it as well. So so like I say, long story short, we got us a new camera, and that's what I'm flapping about. I haven't done a flap for a while like this anyway, because I've got fuzzies all over my face, and I got no hair, but I've got hair coming out the back. I don't know how you can see it, but there's hair here, there's hair here. I got it there. Just having a problem making that connection with my granddaughter to get it cut. I've got to go to the doctor tomorrow, and it's a little bit embarrassing, but like I said, at the same time, I'm old, I can get away with it. So one of the things I wanted to tell you about was the fact that I've got not one, not two, but I can't do three. Three is hard to do with my fingers the way they are. But anyway, I got 3 new projects coming up on the bench. I know I've got other projects in there too, and I've been working on those. I've been clearing the bench off, been doing stuff in the background, not videoing it, stuff like that. So, but again, hoping when I get this set up like I want it to do these three projects, I will have a radio mounted in the MFP, and also a new addition that I haven't told anybody about yet, but I'm planning, and Bob knows this because he's helping me with it. I'm planning to add some voltage sources on the MFP that don't have to be basically nothing done with. In other words, they're constant. These constant voltage situations on the and they'll be banana jacks is what they'll be. But I'll have one for let's see, 3.3, 5 volt, 750, 9, 12, 18. I think is the highest I'm going. So I think that's what covers them. But those are I thought those would be pretty good ones for having for bench work. As far as about anything you want to, I need a voltage for, they'll be right there. And I'm using the I don't have them here handy, but I'm using the stackable plugs. They'll just be one common ground. And if I need two voltage sources, like a 5 and a 9 or something like that, or 12, and I can basically just stack the common ground in on the same jack, and then have the ones for the cables for the 9 and or the 12 and the 5, separate. So that's the plan anyway. We'll see how that works out. I got to find a little bit of more space on the MFP to get this done, but with this new radio that I'm putting in, I think there might be some space on that. Plus the who remembers the high voltage DC power supply, the variable one I put in. There's room on that one for sure, and so that would probably be the obvious best place to put it. Just have it with the rest of the DC voltage coming out of that. So, and Bob has talked about it, and I don't know for sure we're going to do that, but we're thinking about adding one more. And this will be low voltage DC. Obviously, the high voltage DC would be for radios and things like that to provide B plus and things like that. But this would just be a variable output using the LM317, I believe it is, and have a potentiometer there that you can adjust the voltage if you need to adjust it for this or that, and something that's not covered by the other ones. I just thought that would be. And after he told me that, I said, yeah, that'd be a great idea. So trying that and incorporate that. Now, he's doing a circuit board for it, and of course we'll have all the LM, what are they? LM05? Not an LM, I can't think of the name of them. But whatever they are, the 05s, the 09s, the 12s, and you know what I'm saying, 60, 78, 7805, that's what it is. 7805, 7809, 7812, all those. And for I think a couple of them, there's a different one. For the 3.3, that runs directly off the 5 volts, so it has to be a little different. It's a different number. But and then the LM317 is the variable one, so we're using that for the 7.5 because they don't make a 7.5 in the 78 series. So that's what we're doing. But that's going to be a fixed 7.5. Now we'll have again another LM317 with a variable pot that you can adjust. So it'll be kind of neat. I think it'd be a good idea. Or my thought was that it would be a good idea. Anyway, I'm thinking maybe everybody else would probably agree with me. So that's coming up, but that's in the works. I get all these ideas for things, and it's okay. But at the same time, I've got other things going on here. Been helping my grandson. Been helping my son-in-law, Randy, with his vehicles. I think I told you about the Malibu, or if I didn't, they had a 012, is that the way it is? Yeah, 012 Malibu. With a bad wiring on the fuel pump, and it would keep losing power and stuff like that. Well, I got it to where it would stay on. In fact, he used it I think 3 weeks straight for the paper route on Thursday nights, and coming home from his work and and where he works in North Bern, he it quit on him, and so he had to get some help to get it home. But so I kind of didn't figure. Well, I kind of didn't figure. That's good English there. Uh, I kind of thought that it would not hold up because all I did was clean that one pin up, and you could tell from the looking at it, it had pits in it. It was not going to last. It was just a temporary fix at the best. So what he's talking about, and I have been talking about, is running a separate, heavier wire, so there's no overheating issues, to a relay off the fuse box completely, and basically just wire it up direct to the fuel pump and to the source that it needs to be going to. I'm not sure if the source for that fuel pump comes from the battery or if it's a keyed source. I know the one that switches the relay on and off is a keyed source. In other words, you turn the key on, that switches that relay and provides power to the fuel pump. And anybody that's ever messed with any kind of fuel injected cars, when you turn that key on, you can hear that fuel pump running. But it will build up pressure to a certain place and stop. And of course, when the car is actually driving or whatever, it will probably run most of the time. But again, it just had that key source for that. Now I don't know if the source voltage for the pump, that it gets switched in with the relay, is actually directly from the battery or from another keyed source. So just have to figure that out. And I think I've got not schematics, but wiring diagram for that car. And now the other thing was his van. That was his other vehicle they used on the paper route. It developed a problem with the low beams on his, the headlights. He couldn't get them to work. He got high beams worked, and his daytime running lights worked all right. But he turned his headlights on. He had nothing. And of course, he checked fuses and the bulbs, things like that, made sure they were correct or good, and they were. So he had taken it to a mechanic here in town, and he come up with the conclusion there was actually he had the turn signals weren't working right or something, so he replaced the turn signal stalk, and that's also the headlight switch and stuff like that. So he replaced that, and so that was ruled out as the cause of the problem. And he said the only thing left to him was the relay for the headlights, which, normally on a car, that's not hard to get to. You just basically pop out a relay and put in a new one. Well, on his van, he's got a Honda Odyssey van. I think it's 2009. It's not that simple. Honda, in their infinite wisdom, decided to hide those in the fuse box, and you can't get to them at all. They're under a cover. Now, whether or not they're actual standard relays that you would use for anything else, we don't know because we haven't got that apart. But Bob, being the intuitive person he is, found one on eBay, just like the one that's in the van, a fuse box that is, for $40. So the the mechanic in town here wanted, I think, $700 to fix it. So Randy, being Randy, as frugal as he is, and I don't blame him. Like I said, it's an old vehicle. It's got very close to 300,000 miles on it. Wanted to see if he could get it done a little cheaper, so I suggested the replacing the fuse box, and told him what that one was. Well, he was all over it. Because replacing the fuse box obviously gives you two different, I'm not going to say brand new, obviously, but they're two different relays in there. You got a high beam and a low beam relay for the headlights. So I said, you can take a chance. I said, might work and might not, but like I said, if nothing else, it gives us a guinea pig to remove that cover over the hidden fuse or relays, and see about replacing those. And so anyway, that arrived, and yesterday I went out there to help him put that in, and basically all I did was sit there and supervise. But I told him I gave him a good reference video to watch on another guy replacing one. Now it wasn't a van, but it was a Honda car, and it was the same exact fuse box. So I guess he watched that. I don't know, but anyway, he went through the steps and everything, and I made sure he did it properly. And finally, it didn't take too long. It didn't take as long as I thought it would. He finally got it going, and of course, the first thing I do, I said, let's just hook up the battery and make sure without the thing running or anything like that, just see if your headlights come on. And he did, and one of them came on. And I thought, oh, here we go. So he got to look at the other one, and turns out it wasn't hooked up. I guess he'd been working on it, or the mechanic had been working on it, and didn't have it hooked up. So he hooked it up. Both of them work. All the lights work. All everything working fine. So he got away for $40 or whatever the cost was. I think it was 41 something with tax and stuff. But so he got away with that. That wasn't a bad deal, and happy for him. So I think he's going to try that out this evening. Today is Thursday, so on this paper route, and see if that works. And if it stays working, he'll be happy about that. Now on the Malibu, again, like I said, he wants to not no hurry. He said he wants to basically try that fix I was talking about, and that fix I'm talking about will take a lot of that crap out of the circuit. In other words, you got a direct line. The only thing it goes through is that relay, and if it's soldered in, you guys in a socket and everything like that, it should not cause a problem. And like I said, just make sure we got the heavy enough relay in there to cover the current and stuff like that. That's the problem with that Malibu. The wire GM used to wire that up with, was too small, and it produced a lot of heat, and the heat kind of made the where it connected to that circuit board inside, made it pit I can't think of the name. The contacts didn't close and stay closed all the time. They had arcing. That's what it was, arcing, and that's what caused the pits. And like I said, it was under a dark carbony surface. You couldn't even see the pits, but as soon as you clean that carbon off, you can see big pits in there, and so the arcing is what caused that. So that was bad design. I can't totally fault GM for that, because the car had 200,000 miles on it. So really, that's probably considered a lifetime of that car. But at the same time, if you can get more out of it, why not? For a little cheap fix. So anywho, that's that. So that was what I was doing yesterday. Like I said, this is all in conjunction with what I'm trying to do here at the house, and plus I've been trying to clean up my house a little bit. This is spring, and I told the guy that came in to fix the cable. I told him, I said, you have to forgive me, I'm running a little late on my spring cleaning. So he didn't care. He said I've seen worse. So like I said, that's everything's hunky dory now as far as that's concerned. And again, I've got to go to the doctor tomorrow. I tend not to not do much on days like that. Now I've got an early appointment. The appointment itself is at 9 or at 8, so hopefully get that over with. And days I like to get stuff like that out of the way early in the morning as possible. That way I've got the whole day. I don't have to worry about doing anything else and stuff like that. So that's just the way I am, And I don't like to plan something where I know I'm going to be having to. Like if I'm buying groceries or something like that, if I start working on something, I know I have to stop at whatever time it is to go get the groceries, and it just kind of interrupts the whole mood I'm in. But so that's that. Again, just wanted to kind of make a quick video, and I know I'm looking at the clock now. It's 19:29, 30. It's not going to be quick, but it is what it is. And like I said, I just kind of wanted to test out this new camera and see if it works out. Now the short test I did worked really well, and everything was looking pretty good. So I'm happy with that. I'm hoping this one will also, and if it does, then I'll be happy. So you guys, in the meantime, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you.